sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.
History was made at the weekend in Kudang as traditional leaders, policymakers, and citizens gathered to witness the birth of the One Nyamina Association. You see, faced with years of perceived systemic neglect, the three districts of Nyamina have forged a powerful alliance to pool their local and diaspora resources together. We had two reporters at the event, those of you who were following us on radio. So we want to continue the conversation now with two people central to the formation of this alliance, Samba Baldeh and Demba Baldeh. Maybe there's a connection. Samba, is everybody called Baldeh in Nyamina?
Exactly. You have a good number of them there, but we have some diversity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there by any chance any Gomez in Nyamina? That's a tough one.
There used to be, no. No, there used to be.
Used to be?
They're still there.
Seriously?
I'm not sure now.
A Gomez?
There's a lot of
A Gomez or
immigration.
Mendy.
Gentlemen, welcome to Coffee Time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Describe the atmosphere during the launch. I know that there was a mass movement of journalists, and really that you had so many journalists in Nyamina when a lot was happening in the greater Banjul area is testament to your pulling power.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us about the atmosphere.
Yeah, so thank you for having us, Peter. So we have been working on this initiative for the past 6 months. The idea is generally
Only 6 months.
For only 6 months.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for only 6 months.
You pulled off a miracle there.
Oh yeah.
I know
absolutely.
people who've worked for years and years to try to bring communities together and got nowhere.
Yep, no, absolutely. So within the last 6 months was when we started, working on this initiative. It was a combination of some of us who live abroad and others who live here locally. So you can imagine even that structure, time difference and stuff like that was challenging to be able to meet and put something like this together. But as far as the event yesterday, we had an excellent turnout. We had in excess of at least 700 people who came to Kudang. And you can imagine a lot of things were happening on Saturday.
700?
Over 700 people.
In the provinces?
In the provinces.
That is a huge crowd.
That's a huge crowd. I mean, we couldn't fit anything more than that in the space that we had, but we could have probably gotten more people. So the environment was really, really, refreshing, if you like, to see all of these people from the diaspora and here within the country to gather and talk about a vision of independence, a vision of sustainability, a vision of contributing to the Gambia, a vision of contributing to a community in the area of Central River Division was really very motivational. And we are not only interested in the Nyamina area, we want this to be a model for every Gambian to come together and find a way to work together. Government alone cannot do this stuff. We got to find a way to really innovate. And that's why we invited Dr. Mamadou Sala, or Professor Mamadou Sala, to be our keynote speaker, but also an inspirational speaker. Salah has been doing this. We started this together about 40-something or now 30-something years ago.
Really?
When he was running the Association in Joseon, and I was running the Kanifing Issue Development Society. We've gone our different path, but we maintain connection. So recently, maybe a few weeks ago, he was appointed to head the National Research and Innovation Fund that was established by Act of Parliament. So we are looking for a very strong partnership, good partnership, to move our people forward. Yes, it is primarily the government responsibility to do a lot of things, but citizens, like we are doing here, you have people employed and things like that. It's also our responsibility to do our best. And that's the whole idea. Let's come together as a people. And one message that we also have been talking about, it's not going to be the Gambian way, and it's not going to be the American way.
What's the Gambian way?
The Gambian way is that, we are doing things this way, and therefore it got to be done that way. So, for example, if you say we are going to start at 9 o'clock, they say, well, it's the Gambian time, we can start at 10 or 11 or 12, right? Or something like that. So it's not going to be that way. So if the American way is that if you say 9, we start 9 on the dot, no matter whether Peter is there or not there, we are starting. So it's not going to be the American way either. So we are going to create our own.
What's the American way?
That's the American way. If you say 9, it's 9. There is nothing,
You're not going to be rigidly inflexible.
Yes. Okay. But we are not going to be there also to say this is how we do it in Gambia, therefore we have to do it that way. So, for example, some of the discussion we had about it got to be the Gambian way is when Jaliba starts to play his music and when he ends. Okay. We gave it 2.5 hours, for example. For me, that is enough entertainment. If you want to stay longer than that, then you have a problem or something like that. So we are creating our own Nyamina, and we are creating our own approach to development that is not uniquely Gambian, that is not uniquely American or not uniquely foreign. It's our own creation. So people got to have that mindset that bring your own intellectual discussions to the table and just don't tell me this is how we've been doing it. Because if that's the way, then that's why we are where we are. But Demba, I'll give you the...
Demba, why was the event described as historic, and what does it symbolize for the three Nyaminas?
Well, thanks for having us, Peter. I was a little bit careful in saying this is the first time it happens in Nyamina because I didn't know, so I stand to be corrected. But it was remarkable because the citizens of Nyamina pulled together. Bulls were donated. The money that sponsored the event were contributions of Gambian or Nyamina citizens, both in the diaspora and locally. So it was historic in the fact that when the people call in, the Alcalos showed up. The National Assembly members showed up. The SAFOs showed up. The IGP sent over securities over there. So people locally, villages, people showed up from all over. That's why we think it was historic. Nyamina used to be one constituency. But it was divided into 3 constituencies, Nyamina West, Dankunku, and Nyamina East. But
and how did the participation of these local religious and traditional leaders shape the event?
It sent a different message. It sent a message of self-reliance and participation, and people really interested in what's going to happen in Nyamina. And that was the encouraging thing about it. It's like, it's about time we step up and do our own stuff, as Samba was just describing. And it was really remarkable to see even ex-chiefs over there, elderly people coming in. The imams were there, It was just it was heartwarming.
And so just to add to that, one thing that we've been very conscious of is ownership. Yes. Who owns this? It does not belong to Samba, it does not belong to Demba, it does not belong to anybody. It belongs to the people of Nyamina and ultimately the people of this country. Right. So what we did from the onset was to send people to all the chiefs. And we asked the chief to call all their Alkalolu and their VDCs so we can meet with them. That was the first thing we did. We went to all of them and told them, this is who we are. Somebody can come and tell Peter whatever they want to tell Peter, but Samba is coming to Peter and telling people the factual stuff. You can choose to go with whatever you heard, but the reality is what Samba is telling you, because Samba is who's on the ground and stuff like that. So that's what we did. We went to the chiefs, the leaders, and let them know exactly what this is what we want. We also sent people to the commissioner. Governors.
The governor,
exactly.
In Jawara time, they were commissioners. Now they are governors.
We sent somebody to the governor just to let the governor also know what our intentions are. It is very, very easy, whatever you want to do here as far as mobilizing people to be associated with politics. This is no partisan politics. This is economic development politics. That's what we want to do here. We want to help develop Nyamina. We cannot do it without the government. The government may not do it also without its citizens. And we are the Nyamina citizens. So it's supposed to be a partnership, and that's what we want it to do.
And how do you envision this partnership between local communities and Gambians like yourselves in the diaspora working in practice?
Yeah, so we are creating a space where everybody is comfortable to speak their language and speak their ideas, and challenge each other. That way, you speak your language and your ideas, we put those things together, aggregate them, and see what is it that we can do, like Demba said at the meeting, short and long-term planning. So that is the approach to the engagement, is to make sure that everybody can participate. There is no limitation, whether you're going to the Arabic school, the Western school, no school at all, speak English, Wolof, Mandinka, Jola, Sera, whatever. We are all equal in this. And every idea is valued, just like any, knowledge. Does not have to come from Western education or anything. Intellectual.
Nobody has monopoly over knowledge.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. You were just referenced there about what you said in short term, mid term, long term, arrangement. So break this down for us. Yes.
Something forming an organization like this brings in high expectations, and we wanted to make sure that the people want to impact. They want to feel the impact of what we're doing, because people will say, "Oh, we always form organizations, and then the next thing you elect people, and that's it." So we wanted people to really see the vision long term, and also the short term, goals, because there are so many problems that were presented to us, and we're going to tackle those things right away. In Nyamina. And again, as Samba said, our strength is in our numbers. When we come together and we demand, doing something for ourselves. I reference at the same event, is like JFK used to say, ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And that's what the spirit is here. Peter, there's a lot of reliance in, expectation in Gambia where somebody else is going to solve your problem.
Yes.
We're trying to change the mindset to say,
you people are spoiling us, you people in the diaspora with your remittances.
You only need our money and that's it. So we're really trying to create this culture of saying what we're looking for over there is right here within us. Let's just handle it. And we create some structures. There's a new body that is been elected, and there's an oversight body that is also consists of locally people and then also those in the diaspora. And we told them failure is not an option for this. Even if it means us putting our own money in there, we're going to push this to the next level. Even if whatever it takes, we're going to push this to the next level. Thank you.
You're presenting this as a all-inclusive initiative, but how are women, youth, and vulnerable groups going to be given the right to express themselves and also benefit from whatever benefits
so
accrue from the organization?
We have to be deliberate in some of the things that you do, and that's what leadership calls for, is to do things that are generally not easy to do. We have not created structures that I can name and say this is exactly how we are going to engage the youth. But our approach is going to be based on research and innovation generally. So if, for example, the youth is very well impacted when it comes to unemployment. So we'll do a lot of research around employment.
You will do a lot of research, or you will depend on research already done?
So depend on research, but also...
Because we have GBOS, which does a lot of research, and we have other institutions, that, especially in the area of youth unemployment and youth exodus, this backway thing.
Yes. Exactly. So we'll rely on data that is already out there. For example, the National Research and Innovation Fund is supposed to send us a report. I mean, that is not, we condition it, but at least that is data that we can use to say, okay, when they talked about, because they had their own session. What we had was we also had 4 tracks as part of this discussion, we met, we launched the association, and then we went through 4 tracks. One of the tracks was this National Research and Innovation Fund, asking people what are your challenges and how can we help. So that is how we are going to engage all these domains, whether it is youth, women, older citizens. Everybody has some needs. But if you don't do the research to know exactly what the new facts are, what the new trends are, what the reality is, then you cannot come up with innovations that can address those problems. So that is the approach we are going to give everybody. The other thing that I want to say, and I want everybody who's listening to really, really know this, we are not a money-making machine. So Nyamina people should not expect that now I need a well, go to Nyamina Association, you get a well. We have to put a structure, a very fair and balanced structure. That address really, like, whatever we address will be based on true research and true innovation, right? So that is how we are going to approach this stuff. Just because Samba is from Choya and Choya needs one additional well, that doesn't mean Choya will get it. So you have to meet certain criteria and things like that. So it's not a money-making machine or a bank where you just come and say, okay, now we have Nyamina. So
was this clearly made during the inauguration of the association?
So the other thing
because
is,
you had all the community leaders more or less attending.
Yes.
So through them, you can communicate to the broader, wider community.
Yeah. So I think we did it to the best of our ability. There was no agenda to say this is what we are gonna tell you. But at this, I believe for the past 6 months, since we also have 2 WhatsApp groups. So it's a lot of people who are at one space. Okay. So WhatsApp has a limit of 1,025. So we have another WhatsApp group and things like that. Wow. But the other thing that we did, Peter, before this event, we had a caravan, a group of people who went to every village in Nyamina, all the 3 Nyaminas. So we script this. It's not that Peter will just come and blah, blah, and say whatever he want to say. No, we script this deliberately.
You coordinated the message.
Yeah. Exactly, to make sure that when people are excited sometimes, and if you don't plan your speaking and talking, that's how people get into trouble. But if you sit and think about what you need to communicate and write it down, your message goes through.
That's how we got free Wi-Fi for Brikama and free tiling for Sukuta. Okay. And we're still waiting for those to be delivered.
So we sent a caravan of people to all the villages to talk to them about exactly what we want to do. But at the event also, we try to, as much as possible, to let people know exactly what Nyamina Association is about. It's really to bring us together on a development agenda, simple and easy. No politics, partisan politics. And I was very clear, I want to say this. Yes. The MPs were there, the locally elected people were there. I told them very clearly we are not a partisan group. But we will not sit and let government do stuff and bypass Nyamina. It's not just going to happen. It has nothing to do with politics. So say, for example, this morning I had, the government put a lot of funding around women and all this kind of stuff.
No, not the government. NPP.
NPP,
You have to be specific.
Yeah, you are right. No, you are very right. They're so look alike. Sometimes I mix them.
Well, it shows that in Africa, the ruling party is synonymous with government.
Exactly.
Just assume that the ruling party is government and vice versa.
So what I told them is that, look, funding like that, okay, this may be political, so this may not be a good example. But the National Research and Innovative Fund is a national thing. It's not a partisan thing. It was created by an act of parliament. So those people with their funding and research, we at Nyamina will not sit and see them do all their projects around the country and jumping Nyamina or not doing anything. We will go after them. If they want to take that as a political thing, then take it as a political thing. But to us, it's not political. We are not going to say we will support Peter over Demba for National Assembly. That is not our role as one Nyamina association. That we will not deal with that. But our National Assembly members also must work for us. If they don't, we'll go after them, because that also is not partisan politics. It's about why we send you there. So those things we made very clear at the thing. I know there's a lot of confusion. Is politics? Is not politics? Is negligent? We are not saying the government has neglected Nyamina. What we are saying is so many things has not happened in Nyamina. Whether that was a deliberate neglect or no, it's not. Also, this government must know that they are the current government. There was a Jawara government, there was a Ajame government, and there will be an other government.
And government is a continuum.
Exactly. Yeah. So we are not telling this government, if they feel like, because things didn't happen in Nyamina, and therefore we are accusing them. No, is not even close to that. But reality is, a lot of things would have happened in Nyamina that has not happened. That is not going to happen anymore. If we have the pie, all of us pay taxes. Yeah. You charge me $1 and you charge the folks from Banjul $20. It's up to you. I am paying $1. My dollar is as powerful as the $20 you are charging the Banjul people.
Absolutely. And Demba, how will the association measure success and report back to the people of Nyamina?
Well, we have people on the ground. So those ones are going to be our ambassadors. They're going to be the police. They're going to be the people that are going to experience. This is why I talked about short-term projects. Mm-hmm. We're going to engage the communities and make sure that there's deliverables. And a lot of it is going to be project-based. But as Samba mentioned earlier, if you stand up for yourself and you demand respect, people are going to hear you. And that's what we're trying to do here in Nyamina. You know what? We're no longer going to wait for anybody. We're going to start to do something for ourselves. A lot of chatter about politics and all that. This is about us, about Nyamina. This is about the citizens. Hundreds, if not thousands of Nyamina citizens are outside, are in the diaspora. Those people contribute back into their own communities through a structured formation where we can help. There's a lot of complaint about water. There's a lot of complaint about gardens. There's a lot of complaint about youth projects and all that kind of stuff. This is something that we're going to initiate for ourselves.
Your MP was there?
Yes, three MPs.
Okay.
All three of them were there, yes.
Now, when you raised the issue of water, how did they respond? I know we spoke to one of them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he was saying, he was really denying flatly that the area was neglected.
Right.
So it's a question of semantics.
Right.
All right? Exactly. If, as you say, since independence, nothing has happened, it doesn't matter whether the Barrow government has only been there for 2 days.
Right.
I mean, it has been in government, and during the period it's been there. It has not solved the water problem. So
it's an unfair statement to say nothing has happened. It's not a true statement. Things have been happening, but it's not.
But in the area of water provision,
yes. So you can bring a borehole to a village of about maybe 1,000 people. It's not enough for them. I mean, we have examples where you created a garden and then you put a borehole in there. They're still complaining. The water is not enough. So, I mean, as long as it doesn't impact the people's life, it doesn't transform them, it's just the same thing. It's like a drop of water in a bucket, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not making a lot of impact. Yes, obviously, the politician is always going to say, of course, what else are they going to say? They're always going to say, okay, we've been doing this, they've been doing stuff, but it's not impacting on people. It's not changing people's lives transformatively. Mm-hmm. That's really where it is. But again, we want to emphasize, one Nyamina, politics free. You cannot live your life or do anything without politics, but we are partisan free. And people are already starting to ask us questions. You guys are doing this to form political party. If we want to form political people, you can register political parties. This is really about the people. And some of us already have experience in giving back to the communities, where we came from. A lot of people are doing it. We want to bring all those things together, to make an impact.
So this is now going to be the coordinating point, if you like, of all charitable work in the area.
We're going to go after. Yeah. We're going to go after those charitable, groups to make sure that it has an impact.
So they channel all their funds now through the One Nyamina Association.
Not really.
So I think generally the idea is it would be, at least that we know, a channel through which we'll engage the diaspora. That we know, because we have some leverage over that. Okay. We have no leverage over what the government wants to do, or for example, Action Aid wants to do.
It's very unlikely government would want to walk through the One Nyamina Association.
But they may, through institutions. Yeah. And I think this is, this is not the political. But one thing any government and any politician must have is thick skin. Not every little bitty stuff is against a government. It's against something that I feel about. It's not about Peter. So how many review did I give you from this morning, even when I came about your own studio?
Yes.
You could say this Samba, I'm never going to invite him to my studio. He's too critical of everything, right? But you didn't do that. You encourage it. When I came on was it Friday or something, I gave you a lot of feedback because I see you in the cameras and I come here myself. So that is what I want the government also. When they do that, it becomes beautiful. It attracts people to them. It also opens up people's intellectual capabilities to engage them. Not everything is against you, but not everything can be pleasantly said to an extent you are dancing and happy. So when we say there's no development in Nyamina, like Demba said, that's not a fair statement. But one thing is true. We've been complaining about the road from Choya all the way to Jisadi, Sambang, Damkunku for more than 50 decades, or 5 decades.
But this is a road building government.
Exactly. So now we have it really scheduled that it will be built. It's one of the next batch of roads. But that is just one part. We all agree if planes were not made, I probably wouldn't have been living in America now. So these roads, these transportation networks, this transportation technology, whatever it is, creates opportunities for economic development. I live, my village is Choya, but I can go farming in Gisadi, which is closer to the road, to the river.
So those people who say, well, you don't eat roads,
Right.
bring us development about whatever.
Yeah.
You're saying roads are good.
Roads are excellent, not only good.
Okay.
Roads are excellent. Telecommunication is excellent. I live in America. I could sit here now for 6 months if technology is good, and I can do my work from home, right?
Yep.
So all these things, and it also gives government a lot of leverage now to shift these responsibilities to the citizens. So, but little bitty complaint and you want to come and defend everything, it doesn't make it palatable, in my opinion. But I don't know much about the Gambian culture, so I tell people I'm deculturing myself. The more and more I come here, the more I deculture back to the Gambian culture. But I still want to be in between. Just like I said, it's never going to be the Gambian way or the American way. So at my level now, is the culture will bring me between America and the Gambia.
On Monday, the 26th of January 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, and we're with the two Baldehs, Demba and Samba, and we are talking about the One Nyamina Association. What lasting impact, let me start with Demba, do you hope this One Nyamina Association will have on the region?
What we expect is that the people realize that on the whole they have the power to do for themselves. There's a culture of begging in this country. Everybody's expecting something coming out. So what we again teach the mindset.
Is that a result of the extended family setup?
It is something that we all created for one way or the other. We all have to be blamed.
No, the extended family, preceded any one of us here in the studio.
Right, absolutely.
Should we look at the extended family?
We can't do anything about the extended family, right?
Because
But
it's in all families. You have a few
It is.
who are working, doing all the work, carrying all the heavy load.
Yes.
And the others are just tag along.
And that exactly defines where we are as a situation, because one person cannot feed a whole village, for example, right? So, again, the mindset that we're trying to create is for the people to realize on the whole they have the power, to start something and to get help, in addition to what they're doing. Don't sit to wait, for somebody to do something for you. That is really the long-term expectation that we want to impact. It's like to realize, you have sons and daughters of Nyamina who are really coming back and now giving back to the community, but also in collaboration with the local people. That's the long-term impact that we want. Really, the change of mindset in this country and the mentality of dependency, in this country. That's what we're trying to impact here. And along the way, you do for yourself and you don't wait. When something breaks, don't wait for government to come in and fix it. Get up and fix it for yourself, for your own communities, and do something. That's what we're trying to encourage.
Isn't that what Jawara's Tecito
Yes.
idea was meant to achieve?
Yes.
That by now we should all have realized that, well, listen, something is wrong with this microphone. Let me not just wait for, Samba, for me to call Samba in the US and say, Samba, can you help me with the microphone? That
was the idea.
So I think, Peter, what happened is, you made reference to the Jawara Tecito thing. Like I told you, we've been working on this for the past 6 months. And still there's a lot of confusion around what is it that we are creating. You see, when we cannot speak one language, it becomes very difficult to be on the same page. I think that's where...
How do you mean exactly?
So,
especially with speaking one language.
So what I'm talking here in English, if you want to translate that in Mandinka, you will make a lot of errors. Things that I don't intend to say, you say them in Mandinko. So the Mandinka person, his understanding of what I said is English is different from actually what I was saying in English.
In other words, there's always something lost in translation.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that is our biggest challenge in this country, the fact that we are not speaking one language. And that's what we also want to, we try to address. When
we are not like a Japan.
Yeah.
No,
so one language meaning, at least we can communicate. Say, for example, in many cases in Senegal, you can communicate to everybody in Wolof.
They have one lingua franca, which is Wolof.
And in many cases, you can speak to most of Senegalese people in French.
Well, the Mandinkas would love all of us to speak Mandinka, including Mr. Peter Gomez.
Exactly. But that's not the reality of the country. So when we were at Kuda,
So how did Senegal achieve that? They have Mandinkas, they have Fulas, they have Jolas. They have manjagos just as we have here.
So
how were they able?
So these are things that I really like to engage in on a 1 hour, 2 hour discussion, because these are things, I think this is where the problems, but we are not talking there. We are talking at different level. And if you don't talk where the problems, we cannot solve. So Senegalese has something very unique. And I keep telling people this. The Christianity of Gambia is different from the Christianity of Senegal. When Islam came, 40% of Islam is the Arab culture. It's nothing to do with going to hell or heaven. What Senegal did with their religion, they tried to bring in their own culture.
Oh.
And that culture brought in some structural thing. We are very respectful in this country. Everybody calls you Uncle Peter.
Yes.
Right? That's respect. And when I call you uncle, you can make calls that I could deny but would not deny because I call you uncle. Senegal brought in a structure that helped them understand and agree that there must be leaders in every human setup. Or in every setup, even in the jungles. The lions, they have parks, they have leadership and things like that. Gambia refused to have a leadership structure.
Oh.
That is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody can go there and say, Samba don't know what he's talking about, which is okay. But that's my personal opinion, and I have the right.
I can see a lot of comments in the comment section later on already, right?
So, for example, the Barrow government is the government of the day now. It is all our responsibility to give them our best support for them to succeed. That does not negate the fact that we can criticize them. But we generally are not structured to be able to do that, to support a government. If I am NCP or GPP or something, if I come here and say Barrow government is doing absolutely very well on A, B, C, D, when I go back to NCP or GPP, whatever, they'll kick me out. But the same thing with the Barrow government too. Whoever comes here and say Nyamina is not developed, whether we are referring to Barrow, to Jawara, to whoever, the Barrow government will come and start a fight. That is not how development works. If it functions like that, it's the same also. So I hope. So going back to Senegal, why it is, they have a structure. When the Sering says this, whether I agree or disagree is what the Sering says, and therefore I have to go by the Sering. Right. Let us respect our culture. Let us realize who we are. And culture is created by us, who we are. So that is the challenge, in my opinion, that we are dealing with in this country, is the lack of structure. So I keep, and I advise the board, so one of the president of the one Nyamina association that we elected is outside waiting as Samba. One thing I told him, culture is important in all these things, but you got to stand your ground. You have to stand your ground. It doesn't matter whether it's the oldest person. We are easily to respect Peter because we call him uncle. But if whatever Peter brings is bad ideas, say no to it. Let Peter go to the radio station, his own radio station, and say whatever he wants to say. If you get a platform, you also say what you want to say. But it's not going to be Peter's way, because Peter's way is not a good way.
But isn't that where the conflict is?
That's where
you just said that the Senegalese are respecting of leadership.
No,
right?
So, and that's respect to leaders. Because if
that is what guarantees order.
So what I'm saying is respect for leadership. Say, for example, if during elections, Senegal was highly, tense during the election. Yes. Who will calm those people down is where leadership is important also. And when
slowly the Serings are beginning to lose,
they'll come back. It's like this. Look at America. Donald Trump is a Democrat.
He's a Democrat?
He's a Democrat. But he's the president through the Republican Party. And he said this even before he ran for office. Life is about practicality. When you go to school and they teach you science, they give you a formula. If you don't use the formula, you can never get to the solution of the thing that you are trying to solve. So Donald Trump saw a problem, and he used the Republican Party to solve that problem. Africans got to do things that way. You cannot say, man, dema am principle. Who are you to have principles? Principle inga hamne, man soma wahe ni duma de definite. So then you are restricting yourself. Be open to having a conversation. Maybe I'm principled on this because I've never had Peter say anything about it. Once I hear Peter say something about it, maybe my principle will change. But now I've gone to Demba and everybody and told them, man, dema principle silly. Even some changes some mind, I cannot go public. Life is
so principle should not be confused with rigidity. You
exactly
have to be overly rigid.
Exactly, and that's where people are
to prove your principle.
I think the biggest difference with Senegal is about patriotism. When everything is on the line, they put the country first, before people, before ethnicities, before language, before everything else. The country. Really, that is something that I think we lack in
Are you
this.
suggesting we Gambians are not like that?
No, we are not like that, Peter. We are very, very self-centered.
Oh, dear.
You know, people,
Oh, dear.
you will not know that unless you start to build institutions in this country. When you start to build institutions, people start calling you on the side and asking you for their personal problems or their personal issues. I'm like, listen, I'm trying to build an institution here for everybody to benefit. And now you're pulling it yourself. They look everything that you put on the table. People are looking at, what am I going to benefit from this? Instead of, what is the country going to benefit from this? Really, being born in a country doesn't make you a patriot. It doesn't. If things are on the line, when you get out and you see people in the street and you know those people are really, they have some challenges, you should see yourself in them. I think there is patriotism lacking in this country. Really, that is one thing that Senegal is over us. When everything is on the line, they put country first. Their nation is more united when it comes to, really moving the country forward, rather than moving ethnic groups or rather than moving, religious groups and things like that. There's tension in Senegal as well. But I think if we're a patriot, really, if you go into the National Assembly, you're going to vote in the best interest of the country. If you're a police officer, you're going to do what is in the best interest. If you are even a street vendor, you're going to do what is best in there. But patriotism, for me, is we need to start teaching these things right from primary school or elementary school about really being patriotic and putting country first over self, or over ethnicities or over community. I think that's what Senegal has over us.